Bad news in Baltimore. Lamar is
unbelievable.
Well, he might. I should say that.
He's expected to miss this week.
Expected. He's going to give it a go against the Texans.
Likely.
Yeah.
I guess
He's likely. He's going to try to give it a go, but he could miss up to 3 weeks with a hamstring. That's according to Brian Wacker of the Baltimore Sun. We're going to go the full way here, Danny. We'll start with you. Is the Ravens season in jeopardy?
Oh yeah, it's in jeopardy. I mean, like framing it like that. I was needling you last week about how the Vegas odds had, the Ravens in front of the Chiefs by a huge margin, and then even after the game, when we didn't know about the Lamar injury, like as this time yesterday, the Ravens were more likely to win their division than the Chiefs, more likely to make the playoffs than the Chiefs, more likely to win the AFC than the Chiefs.
Did you agree with that? I know those were the odds.
Yeah, because of the path. Because of the path through the AFC North and my belief in the Chargers, no doubt. That is no longer the case because the view was you could overcome these defensive injuries, and a lot of these guys were going to come back, but their offense has been excellent, the Chiefs game notwithstanding. But their offense has been excellent. It's an offensive league, especially in the regular season, and Lamar would be good enough to carry them. And we should look at the schedule because we could just look at it through a 2-game prism of this injury. They are now 1-3 for the first time in Lamar's career. Lamar will not be there, we assume, for the Texans game, and maybe not for the Rams game. So just for the experiment, we'll make them 1-5. If you make the Ravens 1-5, since the merger, 4 teams ever have started 1-5 and made the playoffs, and the sample of the teams that have missed is over 200. So it is, we've seen this a ton, and it's almost never been that you can overcome it. Now it's a 17-game schedule. It is still
an extra team makes it.
An extra team makes it.
Yeah.
So
It's
not
different.
all of that historical context is exactly
But even if
the
you
same.
doubled it to 4%.
Exactly right. So at this moment in time, I cannot wait for you guys to do must win this week. But this is a must win against the Texans.
They're both 1-3. Double must win. The old double.
I don't even know what you call that.
Yeah,
but
just call it double must
I'm
win.
not the graphic you show is a good graphic, obviously. But as Nick has said before, almost all of those teams that start 1-5 are just bad teams.
I know.
Like they're not good. No, I'm saying.
I know.
But if you look at it mathematically, they need to be 10-7 to make the playoffs.
10-7 will get
so
you in.
they could go. Whatever, what would that be?
9-2.
They would have to
9-2.
go 9-2.
I think, Danny, show the schedule. To me, and let's say they go 1-5. The big game is Chicago.
Well, don't let the Bears get hot. Everyone knows
No,
that.
the Bears are decent.
Yeah.
And that's the big. But my thing is, if they can't beat the Bears with Lamar, assuming he'll be back, then they're going to lose.
Yeah,
some more
I mean,
of those
I do
games
think
going
it's. Here's the thing, KW, because I agree. I know you well enough to kind of read your face and thoughts. Like when Brew's like, most teams that go 1-5 are bad teams. What you're thinking is, yeah, like the Ravens,
You
if
think
they
they're
go
a bad
1-5.
team.
But hold on.
No, there's a point where you ever play cards?
No, but
Yeah,
they
I played
played.
Where you're like, who's the worst poker? What is that? How's it go?
If you can't spot the sucker at the table within the first 30 minutes, it's you. Is that what you're trying to say?
You are the sucker.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
But there's a certain point you have to look in the mirror like, hold on.
No.
Are we the bad team? It's like the end of I Am
Wild.
Legend. Will Smith is like, hold on, I'm the bad guy. The zombies are good.
Look
Spoiler
at the
alert.
schedule.
Sorry.
though. You got to be honest. Their schedule, Chiefs, Lions,
Bills.
Bills.
Totally.
And then the next two are without Lamar.
I understand.
Against good teams.
So can
But also a ton of injuries.
And so, Christina, sorry to keep throwing all this stuff at you. Put the schedule back up if we could. Because here is what I do think, even at 1-5. Let's say they lose to the Texans, going into the Rams game, it's like, is Lamar going to play? Is he not going to play? He's on the brink, doesn't play, and they lose. But that makes us believe he is going to be full strength starting with the Bears game.
Yep.
I do think I will pick the Ravens to win their next 6 games, hands down. I will pick the Ravens at home off a bye against the Bears. The Dolphins, I don't believe, are good. The Vikings, we'll see, but Wentz has been underwhelming to say the least. The Browns are I know the Browns, the Browns are bad.
Yep.
The Jets haven't won a game, and the Bengals, who even knows who their quarterback will be. So I do think it would be reasonable, even with this bad defense, for 1-5 to turn into 7-5.
Yes.
I could see that. I just think it's that last part of the parlay that is so hard. Because the Steelers give them a hard time every year. The Steelers might be legit good, but even
And they also might be. There's a scenario where the Steelers can.
No. Steelers. To me, there's no chance the Steelers aren't fighting for playoff position.
I'm just saying, week 18, I'm always just.
No, of course, but those are. That right-hand column is hard.
Well, yeah, and
it's just flat hard.
Not to be a stickler for semantics, but like in jeopardy, like objectively, yes.
Oh, yes.
Because weird,
in jeopardy is true.
Weird things happen in the NFL. Like great teams or like the Cowboys won 12 games, and then missed the playoffs. The Niners missed the playoffs. Like teams that we think are really good miss the playoffs every year, and we're like, it just wasn't their year. Things
just
kept
team like every year made the conference championship.
We are waiting for
to
that point.
Like an amazing team. I can't imagine being a fan
We
of
are
that team.
waiting for that team. Like we are
Every
waiting
year.
for the bad team that's actually good and the good team that just
Indianapolis.
We think it's probably
maybe it's
Indianapolis
Indy.
and the good team. So that is, and then I know we
gotta
got
be
to move
somebody.
on. Going into the year, Eagles, Lions, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs were the 5 teams that had been good each of the last 3 years that everyone thought was
Pencil in.
going to be good.
Yep.
And last year, the team that was in that group that fell off, and it was because of injury mostly, was San Francisco. The year before, it was Cincinnati. I don't even remember who it was the year before that, but people were like, is it going to be the Chiefs?
Yep.
After their start. The Lions were after week 1. Right now, of those 5, if there is going to be one, the overwhelming favorite is Baltimore.
Yes.
That part, you know what I mean?
So that's why it's in jeopardy.
Yeah.
This
No,
is a
it's
huge
definitely in
game.
jeopardy. I mean, he might be out longer than 3 weeks. That's also
Or he might not be able to
possibility.
come back and then not have that burst.
Right,
And I think
yeah.
that hurts.
Yeah.
Not great.
We might need to keep that hospital bed.
Chiefs got to 500. Andy Reid optimistic as the team prepares for the Jags. The Chiefs back to being the class of the AFC. I like that.
So listen, I believe the answer to this is yes, and it has nothing to do with playoff dominance over Buffalo. The argument isn't that, well, even if Buffalo is, the best team, they can't beat. I'm going to put that take in a box and open it later if I need it. I just think if Buffalo is the team everybody thinks is the best team in the conference, my answer is their defense is not good. The Chiefs' defense is. And I think that right now the Bills' offense looks like it's better than Kansas City. I think that we saw a glimpse of what Kansas City's offense is going to be now that Worthy's back. We'll see a fuller picture once Rashee Rice gets back. And that I think that when they play each other in the regular season, week 9, whatever it is, the Chiefs' offense will be at the level of the Bills' offense. And I think the Chiefs' defense will be demonstrably better than the Bills' defense. Now, the Chiefs will probably lose that game anyway because they don't, they don't do a full game plan against Buffalo in the regular season, so they can smack them in the playoffs. But I do, and the Chargers were making a case, Danny, but I worry about their cluster injuries on the offensive line that might have, really hampered them. So to me, the answer is yes. The Chiefs, by that one game, well, really, game and a half post.
Yeah, tackle the turn of the tide.
Tackle the turn of the tide. They are the class of the AFC.
Yeah, to go off your other tattoo, never a doubt could be like benefit of the doubt.
Wow.
Like the Chiefs do get they get the benefit of the doubt.
Thank you.
They deserve it. And I'm surprised that you're not putting it in a box and using the playoff dominance over Buffalo because that is also a valid reason. Like I personally right now, if they played this week, Kansas City, Buffalo, I would take Buffalo. I would make the same mistake I just made against the Ravens.
Yesterday, you wouldn't do that.
Well, I'm saying, like, again, I am not going to doubt. No, I am not going to doubt the Chiefs' ability to, can they score 30 points? Yes, they clearly can. They can do anything they want. I think today Buffalo is better because of their offense. But if you want to say they beat them in the playoffs, they just righted all of their wrongs, they're averaging 28 points a game the last 5 games that they've had Xavier Worthy, and they're 2 weeks away from getting Rashee Rice back, that's a reasonable argument to make. And the thing is now, at the top of the AFC, there's no flawless team.
Well, that was my frustration about yesterday it was like Buffalo's signature moment is hanging 40 on Baltimore. You know what I mean? Like to me, the NFC looks far more balanced, like the good teams
More
having,
better team.
you know what I mean, the good offense and defense in Detroit potentially, the Packers and Philly and the Rams. All four of those teams, you feel like a good offense, good defense. AFC doesn't feel that way.
Rudy, you have a quick comment? We've got to get to Danny's dozen.
Yeah,
Tuesday.
right now, I don't think the Chiefs will have the number 1 seed or the best record in the AFC, but they would certainly feel like the team to beat right now.
Okay, it's Top 10 Tuesday with Danny Parkins. Some people say Danny's dozen. No.
Well, if we want to make it Danny's thing.
Oh, it's got numbers.
Get it?
Let's see a quarterback with 12 and 11.
3, 2, 1.
11 would be tricky.
Yeah.
We could probably
Find 12.
Find 12. But we'll add Niners and Colts if you want to make it a dozen. But coming in at number 10, I'm sorry, you drop a spot when you tie to the Dallas Cowboys, and you held the Lions to 13 points in week 1, but then you give up 40 to a team that doesn't have CeeDee Lamb and 2 of their top 5 offensive linemen. And no, I don't trust you. So you are now the quarterback of the 10th best team in the NFL, and you're going the wrong direction. Tampa dropped a spot this week as well. Their next 3, I'm fascinated. At Seattle, the Niners, the Lions. Getting by the skin of their teeth with these fourth quarter, one-possession games. They have injuries as well. Baker's amazing. Baker would be on the top 5 of my MVP ballot, but the injuries piling up, guys coming back, guys leaving, just skirting by against these teams. We'll see now that they have tougher competition. Coming in at number 8, Brew, I'm keeping him in the top 10 for now, because with Lamar Jackson, I think it's a top 3 offense in the NFL. Now, they don't have Lamar this week, but I am banking on he is going to come back and that offense is going to be incredible. But we know that they're hanging on by a thread. Yeah. And maybe they get to 1-5 and this thing goes the other way and the season gets away from them. But right now, Baltimore hangs out in that spot. Welcome to the Top 10 Tuesday, Seattle Seahawks.
Wow.
I mean, at this point, I know we can point to the schedule and the competition and who they've played, but on offense and defense, they're just really good and really impressive. Opponents' points per game, 2nd. Yards per play, 3rd. Darnold passer rating, 6th. Jackson Smith and Jigba, no one talks about it. You were talking about Puka Nacua earlier in the show. He's playing like a top 5 receiver also. So, like,
wow.
Elite receiver.
Great job by Brew. I mean, you just really won Brew an argument from earlier. That was a bad beat for me. I could have used that stat 45 minutes ago.
He's been great. Number 6, they're moving the wrong direction also. My Los Angeles Chargers and Justin Herbert. Alt, Slater, and Becton, their top 3 offensive linemen. Herbert is running for his life. Most pressured quarterback in the NFL the last 2 weeks. He was able to get the win 2 weeks ago. Weird interceptions, deflections, defensive lineman running it back, his wide receiver falling down. Doesn't matter. You lose to the Chargers, you're obviously dropping in the rankings. Coming in at number 5, the Los Angeles Rams. A complete team. Stafford's 2nd in yards, 3rd in touchdowns, 5th in yards per attempt, 7th in passer rating. My question with him was, is the back going to stand up, and is he going to be healthy at 37 behind that offensive line? He is answering all of those questions. The defense has been great, and Stafford is playing like he's still in the absolute minimum, or the middle of his prime. I was criticized for writing off the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I guess I deserved it. But last week they were number 6 in my top 10 teams, and they hadn't played like it because I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. You win that game, you move up 2 spots, you are the 4th best team because, again, Xavier Worthy clearly changed everything. I thought he was going to change a little. He changed everything for this team, and all of a sudden, the light show came back 2 weeks away from getting Rashee Rice back. 37 points, most in a game for the Chiefs since week 3 of 2023. Cream of the crop here, top 3 teams in the NFL. The Detroit Lions coming in at number 3. My Super Bowl pick 3 years in a row. Jared Goff, was thrilled to see him on Brew's MVP ballot. Leads all quarterbacks in wins, completion percentage, and passing yards since the start of last year. Their offense is scoring over 41 points per game and has not allowed a sack in the last 3 games.
That's amazing.
They have just been, they stumbled out of the gate in just a buzzsaw of a spot at Lambeau. Micah Parsons' debut. First game with a new defensive coordinator, first game with a new offensive coordinator. They're back to being a juggernaut. I absolutely think they have an argument for being the best team in the NFL. Unfortunately, the Buffalo Bills are in front of them. and it's because of their offense. They didn't lose. I'm not dropping these top teams out of their spots until they lose a game. Josh Allen, to me, is the MVP of the league. They are the thing that I trust most at this moment in time in the NFL, the Buffalo Bills offense. And I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. But if you're the champs and you haven't lost, you get to stay in the top spot, even though it's weird with the wide receiver and it's weird with the quarterback. The defense is young and getting better. And Nick, this one is for you.
Yeah, what's this?
Well,
What?
one score wins, 4-0, all four by one score.
Yeah.
2025 Eagles, 2024 Chiefs. I don't know. I guess they're going.
Yeah,
back.
they just
I guess they're going back to the Super Bowl.
Go back to the Super Bowl.
I guess they're going back to the
get
Super Bowl.
waxed by the Chiefs. I love that idea. Who goes first here, me or Brew?
I believe it's Brew's turn to react.
really?
It's
Okay.
nice for Brew to see a perfect list, right?
I beg to differ with
Oh,
that.
come on, Brew.
I'm moving the Packers from 10th to 5th. All right, you had a lot of nice excuses. A buzzsaw, Micah's first game. The fact of the matter is the Packers punched the Lions in the mouth. All right?
a month ago.
Yesterday, or not yesterday, Sunday night was an aberration. They went in there thinking Dallas was dead. We're going to stomp these guys. It's going to be a celebration for Micah. Next thing you know, they're in a football game. And they had trouble getting themselves going. Dallas had momentum. But before that, while facing when they played Washington, Jaden Daniels was playing. Their first 3 games, they were allowing 13 points a game. That defense is legit. Don't be fooled by what happened Sunday night in Texas. The Packers need to move on up.
I'll just say the last couple games,
They have. That's all right. I'm
they're
cool
getting
with
run
that.
on.
That's
Parsons
all right.
can't stop can't stop the run. Nearly 5 yards per carry against your
A
defense.
lot of Cleveland had a big run with Judkins. Yeah.
Hold on, before I go, what are you upset about, KW?
I like wins.
Oh, you're upset that Brew's moving a team up the
Well,
tide?
is the standing? Is
Well, kind of.
Danny's top 10 is the standing?
Well,
No, it's not the
4-0,
standing.
4-0,
okay.
first place.
But it's not the standing.
Okay.
I had the Packers lower.
Ravens are 1-3.
I had the Packers lower than most people last week, and then they tied against the Cowboys, so they had to drop.
listen,
It's
I think
my top 10.
I think it's fair. I know it's your top 10, but we also have to acknowledge that those Chargers offensive line injuries, they're not necessarily temporary. Slater is not coming back.
No, he is not.
Joe Alt, we don't know how long he's out, but it's not going to be just a week.
Becton's
Becton's thing, though, is scary because he's been in concussion protocol for a few weeks.
That's true.
But those 2 tackles, plus another backup tackles out,
that's killer.
which is why I am removing the Chargers entirely and saying the Jacksonville Jaguars should be in the top 10.
Wow.
It's not about the Prince.
defense.
The defense has been unbelievable. Etienne has been great. I think they have. Brian, here's the argument for the Jaguars is, even if you don't believe in the Prince the way I do, we have seen him play better than he's playing right now. Even if he's not going to be the superstar that I thought he was going to be, he's at most of his career played better than he's playing this point of the season. He also is on the best team he's been on at any point of his career. So if he can just get back to standard Prince level playing, the Jags, all they need is an average offense with what the defense is doing right now. Now, I understand forcing 13 turnovers through 4 games after only forcing 9 all of last year. That pace is not sustainable. I don't think they're going to force 55 turnovers this year. But I think the Jags are a legit good team. I think that they are it's a tough matchup Monday night at home against Kansas City. And I think that they are, the only reason you don't have they're not a top 10 team is because they're the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, it's because I don't trust Trevor Lawrence at all because he keeps making dumb mistakes and turning the ball over in terrible spots. And yes, their defense has 13 takeaways. But if we could put up Mahomes Mountain from earlier in the show, the Jacksonville Jaguars played Bryce Young. I don't see him on the mountain. They played Jake Browning. I don't see him on the mountain.
This is dirty pool.
They played C.J. Stroud, who somehow is holding on to a spot on the right side. I know it's not left or right. I know, but I mean, come on, he's barely hanging on to the third row. And he played Brock Purdy, who's in the very lower left quadrant.
Fresh off an injury.
Yeah, those are the 4 quarterbacks that this Jags defense has piled up 13.
So you're saying you think Mahomes is going to carve them up?
I'm saying the defense is not the best in the NFL.
Listen, I think the defense is really good. I think the offense
Really
is
good.
actually underachieving, and they're still 3-1. Right now, I think they're the favorites in the AFC South. They're tied with the Colts in record. I think what they're doing is more sustainable.
You think they've been more impressive than the Colts?
No. But I think that they are. Sure, I think that they are. They are my pick to win the AFC South through 4 weeks, especially with the Texans being a mess.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Danny's top 10 Tuesday.
Danny's dozen.
Danny's dozen next week.
Danny's
Next
does.
week. What are we? Coach Mangini and Willie Colon here on set, and we begin with tough news out of Miami. The Dolphins win their first game of the year, but star wide receiver Tyreek Hill dislocates his knee, tearing multiple ligaments in his knee. Per his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, Tyreek Hill's surgery is now complete and went very well, according to doctors, adding that another surgery will not be needed. Quote, it's about rehab and he will play next season. The realistic goal is the start of the season, end quote, which is kind of amazing when you consider the level of, full knee dislocation, multiple. It was very gruesome. And, I want your guys' reaction to the injury and then this follow-up news. But I'll just say, I was in Kansas City when they drafted Tyreek Hill. And his career, this is a weird thing to comp it to, but you'll follow the logic. In a way, he's like the Tom Brady of receivers, in that he is the most out-of-nowhere, unexpected superstar, no doubt about it, first-ballot Hall of Famer, relative to his draft position. He was the 165th pick in the draft. Oh, wow. Some of that was because of problems that he got into in college, no doubt about it, but he had to transfer away from Oklahoma State. But, you look at all the other all-time wide receivers, Jerry Rice was picked 16th. Justin Jefferson, 22nd. Yeah. T.O., he came out of nowhere. He was 89th. You look at Tyreek Hill's production relative to where he was drafted as a wide receiver, 150th pick or later. He's second in yards, tied for first in touchdowns, second in catches, and that's all to Antonio Brown. So he was going to shatter those numbers if he kept playing. And so his speed obviously made him special, 5-time first-team All-Pro. It's great to hear that the expectation is that he'll come back. But in terms of what he's accomplished from where he was drafted, he's truly one of the great out-of-nowhere success stories in NFL history.
Yeah, it's rough, right? Because he's 31 years old, and all I can do is reflect back to some of my injuries. And one of the things that I always wanted to happen, especially while getting injured or before getting injured, was can I get back to being the ball player I once was, right? What's my superpower was being able to move a man from A to B against his will. Tyreek's superpower is speed, right?
Yep.
He didn't get the name cheated for being a great route runner, right? What he does best, especially with him and Waddle on the field, you're going to see cover 2 right off the snap because of his vertical threat. When he returns, can he go back to being that guy? And I was 33 when my knees went bad. He's 31 coming off a gruesome knee injury. I don't know if he can. I know I couldn't. Now, he's a way better athlete than I was.
Sure, world-class athlete.
But there's serious concern about who he is when he comes back from this type of knee injury.
And you talked about Tyreek's, the start of his career, and when you think of Kansas City's offense and how explosive it was, it's because he could take a 5-yard pass and turn it into a 70-yard pass in a heartbeat, because not only his speed to threaten you vertically, but his catch and run speed where he could run away from the defenders. And this is so disappointing for him because he was so close on all these numbers. And you hope that he's going to be able to come back, and that I guess the positive of this is even if he's not at the same speed that he was, he's still so much faster than most human beings that his decreased speed will probably still be good enough for him to be very productive. Maybe not what it was, but hopefully a level of production that close.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You're not worried about the rehab process because you know he's going to do what he needs to do to get back. It's the confidence, right? Putting your knee down on the ground, dig, pivot, move, accelerate, getting out of breaks. If he's not able to be that guy, then it's like, all right, then who do we really have right now?
I would imagine a game planning for a guy like him would be as tough of an assignment for a defensive coach as you could get because, what are you going to do? You have no one who is as fast as him.
Yeah, with those guys, what makes it challenging is if you get up and press them, then you've got the problem of, okay, he can get vertical on us and they can throw the 9 route, beats the DB right off the bat. But if you don't get up and press him, then he gets the ball in space, and now it's whether or not you can catch him. So you really have to mix coverages between press man, zone, cover 2, and then vertically, the way that he can get across the field so quickly, it just creates imbalances in zone defenses that are hard to compensate for.
And there's no way he can come back. Right? I mean, he'll come back and trail. If he was a 4-2-5 guy, now he's on the wrong side of 30, and he has this. 4-2-5 guy becomes 4-4-5 guy. Still blazing fast, but it's not going to be cheap.
Well, he has that dog in him. He's not worried about that. It's to what Coach is talking about because his ability to cross fields. Like, if you watch him, when he rolls up on safeties, you see safeties get spooked because he gets on them so fast. If he loses that threat, then you're the Dolphins like, man, like, I don't know if he's just an average.
He's another guy.
Yeah, you don't recover from him closing your cushion in coverage. Like, once he closes it, he's gone.
He's gone.
All right, the other game from last night saw the Cincinnati Bengals fall into the Broncos 28-3, making them 2-2 on the year. Jake Browning, yikes. You got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase out there. You throw for just 125 yards. Jamar has 3 catches, only 23 yards for the game. And because he's a wide receiver and because social media is available to everybody, he was tweeting after the game and, man, y'all better leave me alone, man. I play with passion, hoo-day. And so the question is, all right, if you can't get these receivers the ball, do you go out there and do you trade for a guy like a Russell Wilson or some other quarterback to improve over Jake Browning?
The difficult thing with Cincinnati is they're historically slow to do everything, and they like to see things through. So if they sign a guy, they usually carry him to the end of the contract. They don't want to renegotiate until you get to the end of the contract. They usually give coaches a little bit longer lifespan than other people because they don't want to pay for dead money. So the idea that Jake Browning, after 2 games, they would potentially move on from, it's really not how they've been built or how they operate. That doesn't mean they shouldn't consider it. Whether it's, Jameis Winston could be a really fun guy there.
Oh, that would be fun. Jameis would. I've said this before. I don't want Jameis to be my team's quarterback, but I want him to be some team's quarterback.
And here's the compelling thing about Jameis is he's going to be able to get those guys the ball. It's going to be exciting offensively.
And he'll throw it to the other team too.
And it'll be exciting defensively, but he also has a way about him. That losing your quarterback the way that they did with so many expectations. That whole building is deflated, and Jameis has such a contagious personality and such a positive personality. So it's not just the ability, but I think he infuses a different energy back into the building that could be a really good thing.
Yeah, I have to break it to the Bengals. Nobody's coming to save you. Like that's just the reality of it. Nobody's coming to save you, and your season is over, in my eyes, because your next 2 games are against the Lions and Packers. So if you fall underneath 500 before Halloween, to me, save the pick, save the money. Continue with Jake Browning, because we've all seen enough of Russell Wilson. Kirk Cousins hasn't thrown he threw his last touchdown. Last time we seen him throw a touchdown was in December. There's nobody coming to save you. So if you're the Bengals, unfortunately, it's a wrap. And this is what happens when you don't draft well and you don't build a team up that can at least have an emergency out to kind of help you against a situation like losing Joe Burrow. So it's unfortunate. I don't know what you do to I don't know what you can tell Jamar Chase or T. Higgins or whoever or Trey Hendricks, but it's a wrap.
So can
I just add one? I don't know if it's a total wrap in that division because of how Baltimore's fallen on hard times, and then with Pittsburgh, it's going okay. It's going okay, but I thought Baltimore was going to run away with the division, and then it would definitely be a wrap. But all those other teams are pretty flawed too.
But who's coming off the bench right now that can make an immediate impact right now?
Well, so let me make the argument for Jake Browning. Like, obviously, Jake Browning is not Joe Burrow. I understand that, and he's certainly not as entertaining as Jameis Winston. But I have actually been shocked at how bad their offenses looked with Jake Browning, because Joe Burrow has been hurt before. Like, we have seen Jake Browning. And if you go back to 2023, Jake Browning was fine. 7 games. It's not the biggest sample size of the world.
I'm with you, DP.
But he played 7 games. They scored 23 points per game, which is right around league average. His passer rating was basically 100. He moved the ball, and he threw more touchdowns than interceptions. And this year, through a couple of games, he's been objectively terrible. And so, I said, Self, why is that? Well, maybe it's because he's played Denver and Minnesota. And these defenses, if you go back to the start of last year, are, I mean, you could make the argument that they're the two best defenses in the NFL, but you can't make an argument that they're worse than 5. Like these are 2 of the 5 best defenses in the NFL over the last 2 years. So yes, partly because they're slow to make changes and partly because no one's walking through that door. And maybe we could throw the Bengals schedule up here. You're right, these upcoming opponents are undeniably tough. But okay, so say you fall to 2-4, Pittsburgh, divisional game. They've been inconsistent. Jets, Bears, bye. They're still saying Burrow can come back at the end of the year.
Yeah, but they're looking at December there.
Sure. Oh, I understand that.
Yeah.
But can Jake Browning get them to be 5-7?
I do. I agree with that.
So if he can get them to 5-7 and you hold out the hope for Joe Burrow, like that's something. I think that Jake Browning will be better than he's been these last 2 games because of who he's played.
Yeah, I was a little. The defenses he's played are good defense, but they're not the 85 Bears. So
sure.
You'd think it would have been better than what we saw, and he does have all those other explosive pieces.
That's why it's so jarring.
Yeah, that's the disappointing part about it. But he has shown the ability to do it, and again, the division is such in flux right now. Who knows how this is going to play out over time?
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.